Hello and welcome to the Final Shots podcast, a place where we talk about sports, movies, and everything in between. I'm James.
And I'm Tara.
And we just finished watching the Phoenix Suns versus the Clippers. So let's get to it, shall we?
Well, actually, I was asleep, so...
Well, that wasn't part of the plan. We were just meant to go with it, but okay.
So tell me what happened. I mean, I know who won.
Yeah, so...
I woke up and I was like, tell me the good news, James. Tell me the good news.
So Tara is now the biggest Phoenix Sun fan I know.
Yeah, probably the biggest Phoenix Sun fan ever. Or at least, the best Phoenix Sun
Yeah, but sometimes sleep is more important than your team. But
I think I'm cursed. I don't think it's good for me to watch the games.
So let's give just a little background. Clippers haven't got Kawhi, so already the Suns got a bit of bonus. But there was controversy because CP3, Chris Paul, the third, he got into COVID protocol, so he didn't play in the first two games. So they played 3 games. It was 2-1 up before I watched the game today, which I watched on League Pass. And so, long story short, Phoenix won up 3-1, which is an amazing position to be in. People thought they may just get into the playoffs, but now they might even get to the final. What are your thoughts?
Might or will, James. Might or will.
Will.
There we go. That's what we like.
The position now, it is will.
Bad.
I would probably guess Clippers might get the next game, but Phoenix will finish it in 6 games.
So you are a Clippers anti-fan, aren't you, James? So this is good news for you, even if you're not a Phoenix fan.
Yeah, I mean, look, right now, so the other 2 teams, which we'll touch upon later, are the Bucks and Atlanta Hawks. So those 2 are in the East Finals, and I just would rather anyone but the Clippers win out of those 4, to be honest. A lot of entitlement in that team is what I feel.
I feel like your opinion of the Clippers is similar to your opinion of Tottenham,
I mean, I hate Tottenham a lot more than
Chelsea?
Clippers.
I feel like we decided Chelsea was a good comparison.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think everybody hates the Clippers, but the Clippers were this team where before Kawhi and PG joined, actually had a good sort of morale performance against Golden State Warriors, arguably the best team ever to have played basketball. And then they traded for Kawhi and PG. And what that was, they then just assumed they would win. And it backfired last year because obviously they didn't, right? And
so the cockiness of it.
Yeah, it's just so cocky, unwarranted. Like, it isn't like as if they were... I mean, I guess this is lesser in the NBA, but a player who's been with that franchise for like, say, 5 years, been building up together and then bringing success. They came to Los Angeles, assumed they would win because they're amazing. And, it is a great team, but I just don't like the sort of the vibe and the sort of culture, shall we say, that the Clippers express to the world.
We are lucky that our one listener is not a basketball fan because I feel like if we had a bigger base, they would come for us, James. They would come for us. Pitchforks out.
Well, I mean, look.
You've declared war now.
It doesn't look like they're going to make it to the finals, so I'm sure they'll be sulking about something else anyway.
But to be fair on the Clippers, you're saying Kawhi wasn't there, so, I mean, it would make sense for Phoenix Suns to win the game. In the last couple of games when Kawhi wasn't there, they have really pulled it out.
Yeah.
They've been doing great. I was a little nervous for this game, not going to lie. And to be honest, I'm still a little nervous for the next game. I mean, I have complete faith, but who knows?
So Kawhi's the best player for the Clippers and, one of the top players in the league. So it's a big loss, but honestly, they've been fantastic. They've responded well in his absence. Reggie Jackson has taken the second mantle, best player in a way. So he's probably going to get a lot of money. And then, not play as good as he is now, such as Sport and PG being the lead guy. But when PG's your lead guy, 3-1 is what happens. So it's looking good for the Suns. And in terms of the actual game, it was actually really close.
Can you tell me who PG is?
PG-13 is Paul George.
I was thinking that, and then I got confused with Chris Paul, and then it was a... I'm learning, guys. I'm getting there.
At least it wasn't a Suns player that you didn't know, right?
Yeah, of course.
But looking great, and just touch upon the other half. I think right now it's 1-1 with Hawks and Bucks. So looking well,
Could go
actually,
either way.
well, the last game Bucks destroyed the Hawks, maybe to 30, 40
Ooh.
point gap. But it's one of those where you're already down that low. It's just gonna get a bit worse. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But exciting times. Next time we record a podcast, I expect Phoenix Suns to be in the final.
I think they almost probably will have won the campaign, if you get what I'm saying. Any Phoenix Sun fans out
Oh
there?
no. Okay. So
is that a good place to move on then?
yeah, I think so. So moving on to maybe a bit more sport, It is a sports and movies podcast after all.
Mm-hmm.
Let's touch upon a bit of the Euros. Friday? Was it Friday we watched Thursday. We watched the France-Portugal game.
Oh, yes. That was a game.
Tell me more about, how you felt, whether you enjoyed, was it exciting? Maybe not exciting. It was Wednesday, actually. I do apologise.
Need to get the facts straight, James. This is where people come for their news.
Yeah.
We've been watching some Euros games.
We have.
Watching a couple of the England games, watching a couple of... Basically, nothing too exciting is happening.
Yeah.
There's been some good games, but nothing like this.
This was an amazing day.
And it was France v Portugal, who were both of James's favourites, if podcasts from... listeners from last
So
week
obviously you guys
remember.
know.
Yeah.
Well, when you say favourites, you mean I thought they would go... They're the favourites for the tournament, right? Not I like them particularly.
No. Yeah.
I guess they're fine. But what was amazing about this game... So it ended up 2-2, 3 penalties. So you know what? Penalties doesn't mean an exciting game. And
but
also,
they were...
But what it was the drama. It was the storylines within these games. So to lay out the bit of the foundation... Last game of the group stage, France v Portugal, Germany v Hungary. The standings were 4 points for France, 3 points for Portugal, 3 points for Germany, and Hungary with 1 point. So, France, Portugal, Germany, powerhouses. Everybody knows France is good at football. Maybe not Portugal, but just in general, Germany,
Yeah.
Right?
Portugal's got some good players.
They
Probably your favourite player of all
decent.
time?
He's not my favourite player all the time, but he was someone I considered to be the best for a good while, and then come to realise Leo Messi is probably the best. But, he's a good looker, isn't he? He's got that for him.
Just to be clear, we're talking about Ronaldo, right?
Oh, I think the listeners know, as diehards. But, so what was amazing is France took the lead. Mm-hmm. And actually Hungary scored early. What that meant was Portugal was leaving the top competition, right? But
that was very unexpected. Hungary, Germany, that should have been easy, right?
Exactly. And Portugal essentially were in each position of the group. They became first, they came second, they came third, they came fourth. Drama.
Just throughout that whole game.
Exactly.
90 minutes of, oh, shit.
Exactly.
And you could see people in the stands checking their phones, see what was happening in Hungary.
And then Ronaldo equalised it. Then France took 2-1 again, right? Germany scored, so great. Now we've got Germany, France, and Portugal going through again. Hungary scored straight away again. Amazing. And then Germany got a last-minute goal, and so it ended up France top, Germany second, Portugal third. So that means Germany plays who, Tara?
Oh, 2 world wars and 1 world war. Do-da.
What do you think? England or Germany? Who will win?
Germany.
Interesting you say that. So,
to be fair, Hungary almost beat them. That was good, a good try by Hungary. I felt bad for them.
Yeah.
They really, really tried.
Any other group with those performances, they might have got further, but they were in a group of death. But I made this point.
Group of death.
But I made this point, or just think about it. For the country of Hungary, playing these powerhouses, watching your team play, is amazing. You just saw your team play against Germany, France, Portugal. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I would touch, and I don't really want to mention it too much, but there were a few sort of issues with Hungary regarding sort of LGBT flags and stuff, which, you know, we're definitely pro for always just sharing that awareness and just, you know.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
appreciate
the
that type of
politics of Hungary is not something we
Yeah,
agree
but
with on this channel.
we're just talking about football here right now.
Yeah.
So, sorry, back to the Germany and England game. I was saying so much. England might not want to finish top because they'll play the second place of the of what of this group of death. But if they finish second, they may have played someone a bit easier, right? But it turns out, I'm looking at the bracket now, Tara. If England beat Germany, they're in the half of the bracket that includes Sweden, Ukraine, Wales, Denmark, Netherlands, Czech Republic.
As in they play those people or they don't play those people?
No, those are the teams they could play in their path to the final.
Yeah.
What I mean is, so the bracket has now become this half, and this bracket has become this half.
For listeners out there, just Google it.
Exactly, right. What I'm trying to say is, if England beat Germany, they should get to the final.
Mad!
Could it be coming home? If you said England were playing Ukraine, Sweden, Wales, Denmark, Netherlands, or Czech Republic, you think England could be favourites. And England might be slight favourites against Germany.
I don't know. I don't know what I think. Because obviously it's been a year and I feel like this could feel nice in this country. However, from birth I've been groomed to hate England. So I guess I support Germany.
Well, that's fine. It's going to be a great game. Tuesday, 5 o'clock. Obviously, as we record it, we know Wales have been knocked out. And what other game was on yesterday? Oh, well, Italy went through against Austria, which was, you know, a lot closer than we thought. But Italy continue marching on. And they're on their tough bracket because Italy now play the winner of Portugal or Belgium. Why that's significant is, if listeners remember, of course you remember, we have a bet going on. Will Italy or Portugal? Well, first it was who will win the tournament as maybe a choice. And I said Portugal will go through further and Italy will go further. So Tara's choice is covered. They're at least further now. And I told her something wrong yesterday, but if Portugal beat Belgium, Italy play Portugal.
Yeah.
In the next round.
Yeah.
That is massive. That is the Final Shots podcast derby.
I feel like we need to live stream it.
I think we may. We may. Live podcast, Q&A.
I put literally every pound I have on Italy. That is
okay.
That's.
Well,
I mean, not literally. I'm definitely not going to actually bet any money, but you know, if I wanted to, I would.
But let's see if Portugal even get through Belgium, who will be a very tough.
Yeah, I don't think they will, but I kind of hope they do. So we
get our derby.
Yeah.
Euro's been exciting. Is it coming home? You know what? We shall see.
I think it's coming home for the Italians, and I'm very excited for them.
But no, honestly, the Euros, we're slowly getting into it, but it's been amazing. I'm so ready to follow it, watch it. After this year, it's just nice to have tournament football where you just think about nations. Like, yeah, France v Germany, great. Let's watch this magnificent game.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the sports section of our podcast.
Thank God. No, I'm joking. But we have been watching a lot of sports.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of sports recently, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, well...
I'm just worried that, what started as a podcast with someone who knows sports and someone who doesn't is now going to just be about two experts, because I'm getting to that level, James.
You mean when the apprentice surpasses the master?
That day will come. It's coming soon. But yes, my section. So I've got kind of some small sections today. Lots of little bits,
Great.
Like a little platter.
Ah. Love me a little tapas. That'd be lovely.
Exactly, a bit of dim sum. But let's start with what we've actually just finished watching.
Yes.
Shadow and Bone.
On Netflix.
For those who don't know, Shadow and Bone is like a fantasy YA type of thing. I actually found out after we'd watched it, but the book it's based off is like two series set in the same universe. Like a trilogy and then a duology.
So like Hobbit and Lord of the Rings type.
Basically, but what they did is they mashed it together.
Right.
So, they have these two storylines, and I think it really didn't feel like it was mashed together. I mean,
It felt like it flowed well.
it
I
flowed
agree.
really well. I mean, we have our thoughts.
Yeah,
We have our
which
thoughts,
we'll
and
come
which
to.
we'll come to. But I do think the kind of storyline and the structuring of it was quite nice, and it moved fast, and it felt slightly different to your normal. Because basically, it's about this girl called Alina, and she's basically something called a sun summoner, which is basically like the thing that solves everyone's problems.
But she's a Grisha,
Yes,
which is so in
like a
this
magic
world.
person.
Yeah, so
Basically,
there's
yeah.
non-magic people and then there's magic people. So they're
Muggles.
well, it's highlighting sort of discrimination there, right?
I mean,
She's
there's a lot
hated
of
upon.
politics there. I think that's the stuff I'm really interested in. The whole map stuff. You know, me and James, we love a good map, don't we, James? We
Oh,
love a good
The
map.
Game of Thrones map. Oh well, the Westeros map.
But yeah, it's basically like, I mean, I don't really want to go into it. Watch it if you enjoy. But there's this nation that's been divided by this fold, which is just some darkness, and that causes lots of political stuff. And Alina can fix the fold,
It's a
basically.
permanent overcast, and you like can't really see. And there's like demons,
Permanent overcast.
and there's like
It's just Scotland, basically, isn't it?
And-
yeah. Also the demons. Yeah,
Yeah,
the overcast
yeah,
is the
yeah.
worst part, but the demons are pretty bad too.
and when you travel through this sort of fold, it's like this like black cloud type substance.
It looked wicked, to be fair.
You get attacked by these sort of demons that like attack you, and you just die basically.
Yeah,
and
you just
so
die.
it affects trade. Making it all political or why it affects this world.
And then you got the witch hunters. It's like a very complex universe, but I think it was explained really well. I think what I was saying is basically that could have been a very simple kind of hero story, right, with Alina, whatever. But adding the other part of it, so there's this group of crows. They're not real crows. That would have been really interesting. No, it's like a group of I guess like tricksters, not tricksters. What's the right word? Basically, they're trying to kidnap Alina and get a lot of money for it, basically. Yeah. And that added so much to the story. But anyway, thoughts, James?
So, I'll say my main positive for Shadow and Bone, which is I really like the lore. I really like the world and the world building in a way. I did like the powers, and I think it had a nice concept that I could really learn to love, like a Game of Thrones. They had like nice sort of factions of people, which already had that divide, and the conflict was.
Yeah.
I particularly enjoyed. I thought. So Alina initially in the story didn't know she was a Grisha. Didn't know she was this. I guess godforsaken person who's got this
godforsaken.
Who's got this amazing
basically
light
a
power.
saint, right? They call her a saint,
and she's there to solve this world's problems. And then she finds out maybe a few episodes in. I think the progression between her there to get like actually using her powers was a little slow. And I understand you have to world build, right? But I just don't think it was executed very well. And actually, what also happened then was the power creep. She got just so powerful really quickly. And I'll caveat that with there was this sort of magic deer that amplified her a bit, but actually I think she just got really powerful really quick when she hadn't had this training to sort of deal with this magnitude of power, basically. And one of the main issues I had was dialogue.
Yes. I think, when you watch these things, you need to understand it is for a younger audience. However, as on the Final Shots podcast, we agree, you shouldn't really talk down to young people. It doesn't really help the story. And people are smarter than that. And I think it's hard to compare something like this to something like Game of Thrones. Hard to compare anything to something like Game of Thrones. But it was kind of frustrating because I feel like the characters were great. The storyline was great. To be honest, the production was really good. So clearly had the money. And like I said, I think the adaptation, I haven't read the books, from what I've heard, the way it was adapted was great. I just...
it was missing something, right? That magic
it was
something.
just a little too cheesy, I like a bit of cheese. I like a bit of trying to save the goat rather than kill it type of stuff. People who have watched will understand, but there was just a bit too too much cringe.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it was definitely like, look, we're not against cringe. We love Riverdale.
But it needs to
we
own up the
absolutely love
cringe, though.
Riverdale.
It did.
Yes.
So it wanted to be something serious in a way, with some funny
and
moments.
It had so much potential, like so much potential, and I really did enjoy it. I think if you let yourself get carried away with it, you will enjoy it. But it was a bit.
I think with many shows, the potential of the show made it just a little bit more disappointing that maybe the execution wasn't quite there.
Especially the end. I think the rest of it I could deal with, but like, you know, when they're trying to wrap up and they're doing these like monologues, and it's just a bit much.
And just, I guess, with that, the acting on a few of the actors wasn't quite up to scratch.
But I had a theory, didn't I, James? Because, you know, I watched these YouTube commentaries, and everyone was saying Shadow and Bone's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe we went in also knowing that people liked it, and knowing it had a really high score, to be fair, which may have affected our harshness.
When we watched the trailer, I was really excited. And that's one thing that ruined for me, because I knew she had this power, but it took us so long to really see that power. So really, like, and that's one thing, actually, just as a general sort of point, that trailers nowadays give away too much. I don't think it gave too much. It was quite, it just gave a taste of potentially her magnitude of power, and then for them to be quite slow and, well, firstly revealing she had the power and also just using it, just a little disappointing, especially because I didn't have enough to grip me in the first few episodes.
But I also think there's an element of what we were saying before is the people who were commenting on it were American commentators. And I do think, as a British audience, listening to people with British accents or English accents, you do feel the cringiness a lot more. Like, I'm sure if they had American accents, I'd have been like, oh, yeah, this is a normal show. But they just kind of ended up sounding like someone I knew who went to drama school. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a bit... Yeah. And I think it's interesting to think about it like that, because I do think that kind of affects us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, is that all on Shadow and Bone?
I just, one last point. I think it did leave it on a nice cliffhanger that the bad guy with the shadow powers, I can't remember his name. Alexander. Oh no, he was hot, wasn't he?
Oh, well, you know, right. Prince Caspian, right?
Oh, right, yes. So we thought he died because one of his, the demons in the fold ate him, but he survived, and now he's got an army of shadow fighters. So that actually is quite exciting. So it was quite a good cliffhanger. So I'll give it that. So if season 2 comes out, I'm not opposed to watch it. I was just a little disappointed because I actually thought it would be quite good.
Yeah, and I think you really need to just let yourself go with it, because just otherwise it's quite hard to, it's quite easy to be taken out of it when you hear some of the phrases that they've come up with. But sorry, enough about Shadow and Bone, because this really is a Twilight podcast. Is it not? And we'd be doing it a service if
we're
we
doing so well. I want to say at least half an hour in, going strong.
No, I promise next one. Next one we won't.
Yeah.
But I was just, I was trying to avoid Twilight, and it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up. But basically, this is actually a blend of 2 of my interests.
Oh, great.
Twilight and BTS.
Wow.
I'm not going to say I'm a BTS fan, because BTS fans would probably rip me apart for not being a good enough fan. But I do enjoy BTS music.
All fans are all fans. You can't judge the fandom within.
It's true. Fine, I am a BTS fan. Thank you very much, James. But basically, this old clip resurfaced from this BTS behind the scenes interview type of thing. It's actually quite old. It was from their Run days, for any BTS fans out there.
Went over my head.
And there was just a Q&A. It was just a Q&A. And basically, Jin from BTS was asked, name 3 fairy tales involving werewolves. James.
Twilight.
And that was exactly his answer. Which was amazing. I mean, I would have thought he'd go like Red Riding Hood,
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, you're right. Well, we are talking about it, to be fair. There's a lot of fairy tales involving wolves, right?
Yeah.
And for him to come straight out, he must be a Twilight superfan, you know?
Must be.
He must be a Twilight superfan. So then the official Twilight account changed their Twitter bio to the official Twitter account of That Fairy Tale Involving Wolves.
Wow.
So that is a nice little Venn diagram of two of my favourite things. But yeah, I thought, as this is not the Twilight podcast, I would still like to have some elements of Twilight. Every week. Just an update, you know, because so much is happening, you know. It's not a dead franchise or anything.
Oh, really? Is that the
there's so much happening.
Consensus within the fandom? Twilight, the booming
franchise. It is. The Twilight Revolution is going to happen. But also...
I guess it's following on to Batman now.
James, this is what I'm saying. But, yes, I guess the next item, because I've got...
Speaking of action,
John Wick 4.
Oh.
John Wick 4. So I've seen John Wick 1 and you've seen John Wick 2 and 3.
1 and 2.
Oh, I thought you hadn't seen 1.
No, I've seen 1 and 2.
I'm thinking of my dad.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should watch John Wick 3 then.
Yeah.
Okay, that
and 2. Well, we just watched 2 first. And then...
yeah, true. But John Wick 4.
Yeah.
So I don't know what must have happened in John Wick 4, but maybe his neighbour's cat's dead or something. Something must have happened.
I think he stepped on a snail.
Oh,
and then he's like, shit, who laid this there? Then he...
I would watch that, to be fair. That would be wicked. But John Wick 4, I just wanted to mention because it has a familiar face in it.
Okay.
You know this, James. But I think you've forgotten it, so the reveal will be on the podcast.
Okay.
Donnie Yen.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing.
Did you know that already?
I remember now.
I told you. Yeah.
It was the It Man himself. That's amazing.
That's going to be really interesting. Because, I mean, I don't really know exactly what the storyline will be, but I think he's heavily featured.
Sounds like the action's going to be amazing. We're not there to watch. See, okay, going back to Shadow and Bone, because we just have to now. Shadow and Bone wants to be something that I feel, maybe I'm wrong, wants to feel like it is a series that has good dialogue, has good acting. With John Wick 4, the actor doesn't even need to be amazing, though, to be honest, it's a great performance. And the dialogue is, relatively simple, but it knows what it needs to be, a great action movie. Shadow and Bone is in that in-between, which has great potential, but not quite delivering on either this really funny, making fun of itself type of fantasy drama, or this serious, we have to save the world type thing. It can't commit to one of the two.
Yeah, it just doesn't quite get that tone right, I think. Yeah. But yeah, John Wick... I
don't think on Shadow and Bone anymore. But
yeah, I don't think John Wick has ever had an issue with tone,
No.
But also not to shit on John Wick. The acting in John Wick is amazing. I'm fairly sure Keanu Reeves, at least in the movie I watched, the first one, I think he says maybe 2 lines of dialogue. And yet you see the full range of emotion in that man. And also for a thing that seems somewhat trivial, I completely disagree, it's not somewhat trivial, but you don't normally see in an action movie, this guy killed my dog, I'm gonna murder all these fucking people. Yeah. He makes it so believable, and I'm like, yes, how dare you, I mean, that was heartbreaking, to be fair with the dog.
Should not offend Mr. Reeves, is what...
You don't mess with man's dog, James.
No, you don't.
You don't mess with man's dog. Oh my gosh, that was... I'm excited. I'm excited for all the John Wick movies because I actually loved one. I only saw it really recently. So yeah, we need some John Wick education on this podcast. But yeah, Donnie Yen, gonna be mad.
That's gonna be fantastic.
I mean, last time we saw him, what was he in?
I'm guessing you're not referencing Rogue One, are you?
No, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is racist. He was in Mulan, right? I thought he was in Mulan.
Yes, he was. Yeah? He was the commander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not his best work.
He was hardly in it, I feel. Was he?
I just feel like Donnie Yen deserved more.
Well, I mean, I guess it's one of those I don't know about sadly, but maybe in movies which, majority are sort of white actors or I don't really want to bring race in too much sometimes.
Is
But
this not a race podcast, James?
what is
I feel like last week we realised we were so great at talking about race, we actually forgot our own races there.
Yeah.
So.
But it's one of those where, because Mulan is, an Asian film,
Yeah.
they had to just include, I guess, one of the more well-known Asian actors.
And great if they'd have done it great,
Yeah.
I'd have loved to see Donnie Yen fucking kicking some ass in Mulan, but it didn't. He just sat around for a bit, and it was disappointing. I mean, the whole Mulan,
though, so
the whole Mulan movie was. I mean, we could
too
probably
too much chi.
we could probably do a whole podcast just on that, on my opinions at least. Maybe another one
that
on yours.
fantastic oak. It was fine. It was enjoyable.
James,
Good scenery.
Don't get me
right.
started. Don't get me started. Okay. Let's moving on. But any other thoughts on John Wick 4?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm excited. Okay. And one thing that I'm actually also low key excited for that we haven't got around to watching.
What a segue.
Do you get it, James? I don't know if you get the joke. Do you get the joke?
I get it. It was a marvellous joke.
So good. Wow.
Have you heard anything much with reviews? Oh dear. I like the vision
you
there
have.
though.
No, I'm trying to stay off it because I feel like from Shadow of Bone I've learned just go in and watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we actually haven't got around to watching it yet.
No, I mean we haven't watched Falcon and the
We
Winter
started
Soldier.
it. And
Great first episode.
I thought it was a great first episode. I was really not looking forward to it.
Falcon was broke, which makes the most sense of all the Marvel heroes. Which one would you say broke? Falcon.
I just feel like I was so not looking forward to it because I was like, these are the like B actors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
C.
Ooh.
It's definitely C, right? If
I mean,
A is
Hawkeye
Robbie...
is B, isn't he?
See, Hawkeye is the most try-hard C, so he's like a B.
No, I mean, he's the most broke A, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? He was the original Marvel, but was he though?
Yeah.
Was he though? But yeah, it was honestly a big surprise with how good it was.
Yeah. I don't know if it keeps that direction, but it was an interesting take to see, like, his unwillingness to also... Well, I don't know. Just because you're a superhero doesn't mean you should just get money. But I don't know if someone who... Look, in the Marvel world, politics aside, the superheroes are meant to... they're saving the world.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. You shouldn't be broke. Like, I feel like there should... At least in that world... I know Tony Stark, I guess, is dead by then. Spoiler alert.
A bit like that, Joe. A bit like that.
Surely working for under Stark Industries, you get a little something.
That's true. He could have just
something.
he could have just given a bit over,
Yeah, what?
just a little bit. It was just a bit rude.
He can't even fix his broken boat.
He's got so many rich friends.
Yeah.
Could they not? It's just rude. He needs to find better friends. To be honest, he needs to find better friends. Do better.
Sell his
Marvel.
wings. I don't know.
Sell his wings. I mean, it's true. He doesn't even have any powers.
Well, yeah.
His power is something he bought. I think he got broke because he bought the fucking
buy
wings.
that, clearly.
But yeah, I am very excited for Loki.
We'll watch that. We'll give a little review, see how we... Well, because Tom Hiddleston's great as Loki, so it should be awesome.
I think probably one of the favourite Marvel characters.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, Iron Man as a performance is great as well, I think. But Loki, everyone seems to...
I guess Iron Man is high-key praise. Loki's real low-key praise, if you get what I mean. Have I overdone it now, James?
Blades of Glory.
Yes, our sports movie of last week.
So was you excited for this movie?
I was not. I went into it and haven't seen it. I mean, it was out in like 2007, but I remember when it came out, and I don't remember reception being great. I think it was a lot of, people were very hyped because Dodgeball was a great movie. And everyone was like, oh, okay, this is another Dodgeball. And it wasn't. And it wasn't another Dodgeball. That doesn't mean it wasn't fucking amazing. So I went in thinking it was awful, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. It was that kind of 2007 humour that we haven't seen in a while, and it was quite nice.
It knows it's meant to be funny and make fun of itself, unlike Shadow and Bone, as we've touched upon. But, let's not start that again.
James!
I've clearly got some unresolved issues.
You've clearly got a
with
bone to pick with it.
Oh, dear me.
Oh no.
But Blaze of Glory, I was expecting a awful, cringy movie, and so much so maybe I just wasn't looking forward to it. So we dragged watching it.
Yeah.
But then Will Ferrell was in it. Not a lot of actors, great.
Napoleon Dynamite. Will Ferrell and Napoleon Dynamite, and then you've got Pam from The Office.
Yeah.
You've got BoJack Horseman.
Oh my God! Whoever decided to cast him as Horse needs to get an Oscar. Who decides hearing his voice? Oh no, now I hear it, I just think of a horse, but that is great casting.
Yeah, and
Amazing.
I will say BoJack Horseman is like one of my favourite shows of all time. And you know what? I think we should do a podcast just for BoJack Horseman.
Sounds amazing.
One just for Mulan to shit on it, and one just to praise BoJack Horseman. But then also, Amy Poehler.
Yeah, Leslie Knope.
Leslie Knope. The one and only.
The one and only. It was so funny. It was actually so funny, and it kind of made me excited about roller skating. It was awesome.
Ice skating. Yes,
ice skating. That's what I meant. It was so funny. I forgot what sport.
Of course. Yeah, it's the thing where I think in general with Will Ferrell, I think sometimes he can go over, but I think in general he gets the perfect balance. With okay, it's funny and ridiculous, but it's also not too ridiculous. I'm just like cringing, right?
Yeah, I think sometimes, like you said, you expect Will Ferrell to be this like amazingly funny guy, but sometimes, at least for me personally, doesn't quite connect. I don't think you've watched this, but when I watched Get Hard,
I have not watched it. Yeah.
Honestly, wasn't the biggest fan.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, but in this movie, it was just really, really well performed, and his character as this sort of womanizing and then ended up alcoholic, cocky, confident figure. Skater. Very well done. Had really good chemistry with the other main character.
Napoleon Dynamite, yeah.
Exactly.
Jimmy.
Who was a bit more sort of, I don't know if uptight's the right word, but like more structured, a bit more shy.
Yeah, he was like repressed as a child type of thing. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was hilarious, and it was just a lot of fun. And I feel like, for me, I haven't seen a good comedy like that in a while.
Yeah.
And maybe people don't think it's good, but we liked it. So.
And sometimes, Payne humor. Don't know if that's quite the phrase. Slapstick.
Yeah.
But sometimes a man getting kicked in the balls just that as a joke just hits well. And in this movie, it happened twice, and it still got me.
I just think after the year we've had, we needed a bit of Will Ferrell, to be honest.
They kept their heads and they performed well. If you've watched the movie, you will understand what I meant there.
Brilliant. Well, let's see if the next one will live up. James.
Okay. Oh, honestly,
is it my turn?
I just want to say,
carry on.
Of the movies we've watched, this might have been my best so far.
Oh, okay.
I just really enjoyed it.
Even better than the original Marvel movie.
That was like groundbreaking. That was like the most amazing sort of realization. But enjoyment, I don't think of the movies we've watched, Blaze of Glory maybe top. I think we may have to do maybe in 10 podcasts in. We need to rank the 10 we've watched.
I think so.
Okay.
I also think, I'm hoping I'm going to pick up Dodgeball and see how you think of that. Because I'm like, if you like Blaze of Glory, I'm not trying to overhype Dodgeball here. It probably isn't as good as I remembered it, because I watched it when it came out and I was probably a bit too young. But I loved it. So, we'll see.
Okay.
I watched it a couple of times, because I remember we watched it in PE once. Which was...
What? Oh, what was you doing, Dodgeball?
No, it was just like rainy.
So
it was indoor PE day.
Did you not have a hall where you could just play dodgeball instead?
I think the hall was being used.
Oh, so you were in a class for PE?
Yeah, no, we had that a couple of times. Another time we watched Coach Carter. We also watched Step Up. PE was great. In our school where no one wanted to actually do it. It was amazing. That's probably what inspired this podcast, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, back in the recesses of my mind. Is it my go?
I think so.
Okay.
So I'll shake up a little bit.
Shake it up. Thank you very much.
And you pick.
Okay, please be dodgeball. Please be dodgeball.
And we can't watch dodgeball until we pick it now, so...
I know. I'm very upset about that. I wanted to watch it straight after. Hoosiers.
Isn't that the band?
It is the band. This sounds Canadian to me. I mean, I put these in, but I actually don't remember it. Okay, it's from 1986.
Oh my lord.
It's an American sports film.
Hockey.
Should I read you the
Please.
little info, James? Okay. Oh, also it made 28 million at box office and
In 1986, that's pretty good. I maybe want to say.
91% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, that score means
7.5 out
nothing.
of 10 on IMDb.
So it's average.
I think that's pretty. Blades of Glory was like a 6.
I know, but what I mean is, so it's possible that it could be funny.
To be fair, I don't think it's a funny film, right?
Okay,
so it's harder for funny films to get higher ratings, in my opinion.
If a funny film was 9, because it's obviously funny is quite subjective.
Yeah.
That would be.
But this is a serious film, so yeah, I guess a 7 means it's a good film, not a bad film. Temperamental Norman Dale runs the basketball program of a high school in an Indiana town. Seeking to rectify his past, he tries to forge a winning team with an alcoholic assistant coach, Shooter. Is that
Ben Affleck?
No.
Sorry, okay.
I know what you're doing. I know what you're talking about.
Where he is a drunk.
Yeah, it came out last year. I think there was a Ben Affleck basketball movie. I don't think it came out.
Yeah,
in
maybe not in
80s. Sorry, you know. But I see where you're going. I see where you're going. No, yeah, okay. It does just sound like Coach Carter, but I love Coach Carter.
All right,
so there we go. There we go. I'm excited for this one. I feel like we haven't done a basketball yet.
We have not done a basketball, no.
We've done, what was our first one? Cheerleading, baseball, tennis, ice skating, basketball. We haven't had a repeat yet.
Yeah, wow, amazing.
Great stuff. And next week will also be dodgeball, so there we go. Great stuff. Okay, well, thank you for this podcast today, James. It was a lot of fun.
It was amazing, and have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day. Signing out.